Alrighty, here we are, another week around the trash fire. Your host Matthias, along with the boy.
John.
Here we are. Another week of going through this stuff. Got some pretty big news coming, but not
Yeah, lots of stuff actually.
not too much. Not too much making waves now that we're at least in the 40k end. We're at the end,
Yeah.
but still fun stuff to go through. So let's talk about the stuff that isn't fun to talk about, and that is price updates. Oops. And I hit the wrong button. All right, price updates.
Yeah, always not a fun thing for anyone.
Not at all. So if you're looking to buy something GW official, now's the time to get it before March 6th. So I mean, you still got a month, less than a month to buy stuff. I think what, everything's going up by like $10.
It
But the
depends.
boxes are going up by like $10. And then
Depends. Yeah, like $60 is gonna go up to 65. That's the big thing because jet bikes were the thing I was looking at, and after the price update, it will be going to $65.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, $5 is not nothing. So
it's not. It's $5 poorer right there. But what is getting the price update? Well, we got plastic miniatures, of course, Forge World and Citadel resin miniatures, which, I mean, Forge World's already expensive enough. I'm surprised they're gonna make it even more expensive. We got standard, pretty much the brushes are going up, which, I mean, you could probably get better brushes somewhere else,
yeah, you could probably get better brushes from
to be fair. And then their spray paints are going up, which, painful. Those are the only things that are going up in price, according to them. So don't have to worry about the paint pots, the tools, even though the tools are overpriced anyways. The rule books are thankfully staying the same. And starter sets are staying the same, which is nice.
Yeah, which makes starter sets even more of a deal because the regular kits individually are going to be more expensive.
Yes. So, not exciting news to see, but we all knew it was going to happen. It seems to be a price. Something seems to be going up every 2 years. I mean, it used to be, I think 2 years ago it was the paints that went up, as well as miniatures, and now this year the paints are, I mean, not the paints, the models are going up. So it's that high cost of living for you.
Mhm. Yeah, the UK is getting a bunch of increases in their cost of living expenses, so Games Workshop definitely affected.
Yes.
But every miniatures company has price increases. I remember Legion had a big price increase not too long ago. It just that's part of economics. Except for video games, apparently, always been $60 ever since like the 80s.
Well, don't you know? Don't you know it's going into $70 now?
But yeah, finally catching up. Wow, took them 30 years.
Well, sad to see that. But we can go on to some better looking news, which is Imperial agents are finally getting some online rules. Or agents of the Imperium, I should say. Finally getting some updated rules. So if I pull up this tab here, see all the assassins getting minor changes. Of course, we got the Inquisitors getting changes as well, or updated. I shouldn't say changes, updated. Eisenhorn is in here. I didn't. Was Eisenhorn? Do you always have 40k rules? I really don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. When he came out as a resin mini too long ago, a good amount of time ago.
I didn't pick him up. My
Yeah,
mistake.
he was resin.
Got that. The Chikaro weaponsmiths are in this. The demon hosts. The Navy breachers are getting their rules in here, as well as the rogue traders, as well as the voidsmen at arms. I guess the Arbites wouldn't be in here just yet. I guess because they came out already, right?
They were pre-order last weekend.
They were pre-order last weekend. But,
Boxes sold out already. So.
Of course it is. Those are, again, like we said, good models. But here we go. Agents of the Imperium. Getting updated rules and points. So, if you want to put some chaff units into your Imperial army, there you go. Or I guess you... wait. I guess you could make a whole army of Agents of it. No, not enough. Not enough unit variety to make a Agents of Imperium. But of course, these are free slot units that you can put it in any Imperial army if you wanted to. So, cool to see. Can't wait to see what happens next. But this is just a little update. Let's go on to the big news here, which is the Sunday preview. And we're getting more of the Astra Militarum and preparation for what's this thing called? Black Library. So, moving on to the Astra Militarum, we're getting the Combat Patrol. Which pretty sure we've seen before.
Fun fact, this is the exact same contents as the Cadia Stance box. Minus the codex.
Minus the codex.
Yep, exactly the same.
Well, the book ain't cheap to make, John. Yeah, that's why the price is always expensive.
A limited book.
Exactly. But I'm glad you saw that, because I was like, isn't this the same thing? But yep, here we are. So if you wanted to buy Cadia Stands without the book, here you go. Save yourself some money. So that's coming out. I've got the Cadian Castellan being sold on its own. The updated Commissar. The Attilan Rough Riders, which beautiful looking models. Very nice glow up on them. Cadian upgrades if you want to, make that special kill team. Or just have your regiment looks nice.
Very tempted to do it.
What was that?
Very tempted to do it. Veteran guardsmen are still kicking butt in kill team too, so.
Well, they're the best of what humanity has, right? Humanity's first defense.
The guardsmen with +1 leadership.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You can get that. Aegis defense line being resold.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. I've been debating grabbing this, but I don't know. Another thing to paint.
Still have the old Aegis defense line.
Yeah, the old one's neat, for sure.
I'm disappointed this one doesn't come with a gun emplacement. Like the old one, but God, that thing was so broken in 7th edition. I remember that was like, in terms of terrain that people brought, that one was taken in every list.
Yeah, because it was cheap, gave you some anti-aircraft, were really cheap, and you didn't need to be Imperial. Anyone could take it. I remember people used to make like their own custom Tyranid ones, which was kind of cool.
Well, I mean, what made it so strong too was that, if, for example, you put a fire dragon at the helm of that gun, and then it got all that fire dragon's ability.
Yep.
It was like, oh, look at that fire. Oh, no invul save, and I'm a tank hunter. Well, goodbye flyer.
Oops, sorry.
And I know it just came in, but yeah, your plane's dead now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go. We got the Aegis defense line coming. Uh, the Black Library model.
Generic Space Marine guy number 5.
What are you talking about? This one has a skull and barbed wire, as well as the tactical rock. This one is a very special character.
Oh my gosh, Games Workshop.
Plus, he's got the cape, which makes him even more unique. But yes, I don't know how you say this. Captain Messinus? Messininus?
Messinus.
Yeah, there you go. English language. Alright, well, he's coming around. I know we've already talked about him. I mean, it's a good model,
Oh yeah.
but definitely not going to be picking it up on my
No,
own.
not worth the. Not exciting enough, I think. If you don't have a Space Marine captain, yeah, but I have a lot of Space Marine cap, and he doesn't even have any really unique warrior or posing or anything.
He's got the
So
mid cape, bro.
he has a half cape, I guess, kind of unique.
So there he is. We're getting Dawn of Fire, the Iron Kingdom, collector's edition book, as well as the Iron Kingdom, a Dawn of Fire novel, which I assume this is what the captain's from, right?
Yeah, the Dawn of Fire series.
Getting that, the End of the Death, and the Death, Volume 1.
Here we go. Horus Heresy, Siege of Terra, the finale.
Part
You
1.
bet I'm definitely picking this up. Mostly because I'm helping a friend collect all of them, but yeah, this is gonna be sold out in like probably 2 minutes.
Are you buying the collectors or just the book?
Well, absolutely the collectors.
Right then. And then, of course, they're trying to sell the map, which it's trying to sell like every other time they mention
Yeah.
Horus Heresy. The End of Death Volume 1 on digital, audio, and paperback. That is a thick book.
Oh yeah. It's all the Siege books are pretty thick.
I wish I could see how much time is on that audiobook. But considering chapter 116 minutes, it's probably going to be a good 20 hours.
Yeah, it probably between 16 and 20 hours. The longest Siege of Terra one was 16, but this is the finale, so it could be longer than that.
You think they're gonna just Dan Abnett's just gonna pad it out with a bunch of nonsense?
Probably. I mean, people really like Dan Abnett. I like a lot of Dan. Even myself, I like a lot of Dan Abnett's work, but I also don't like what Dan Abnett does sometimes in Horus Heresy. Like he is the king of just making stuff up. Like I think I ranted to you about the Primarch mother thing. So like
Yeah.
introducing a major, like I have nothing against the Primarch mother for listeners who don't know the concept of one, but introducing a major character with implications, unlike the finale series, is kind of silly, and she just kind of dies in the next book.
But you
Like,
gotta get her
okay,
out of the picture as fast as possible.
it's like what's the point of this? So yeah.
Well, I look
So
forward to
I do
your
wonder what kind of crazy twist Dan Abnett's gonna pull.
in-depth review. Like a 20-hour essay on everything that happens in this book.
Oh gosh,
That'll be a very long podcast.
will be a very long podcast, going through every chapter,
Exactly.
explaining the dumb stuff that's coming up. I mean, I mean, jokes aside, it's gonna be great. Like I have accepted that I'm gonna enjoy whatever it's put out because
if my expectations are too high, I don't want to be disappointed. This is the end of a series I really, really, really like. So I'm just gonna enjoy it for what it is. I'm not gonna have any real like critical expectations. So, but for sure, this will be controversial. Whatever they do, if they stick to the plot as it is, it's people are gonna hate it. If they try something new, people are gonna hate it. So, again, I expect this to be a very controversial release when it comes out.
Well,
But
that's
nonetheless, I will personally enjoy it.
that's what we like to do. We like to complain about everything. We're never gonna be satisfied with whatever we get.
But something you can complain about something and be satisfied. That's what I do. That's how I enjoy this hobby.
Yeah, well, you're the outlier.
Yeah, guess I am.
All right, well, moving on, we got the Black Library Celebration 2023, the little book they give out for free. Well, a bunch of short stories if you want to grab that. Balloon Rising, Goblin Book, talked about that earlier. Angels of Darkness, Gav Thorpe book.
Classic Gab Thorpe Dark Angels book. I have not read it, but a lot of people say it's really good. So I don't have time to read it, but
All right, well then we got the Reader's Choice winners. Is I guess these two books were the best of the year. I guess I don't know.
no, they won the Reader's Choice for books to bring back. These are older books.
Got it. So those are coming back. We got the first founding collector's edition book here. Read more about the traders known as the Dark Angels.
That's
Uh,
not funny anymore.
huh?
That's not funny anymore
Why is that not funny?
because it's ignorant stupidity. It's Alpha Legion trickery.
Alpha
That's what it is.
Legion, come on now. All right, well, we got Volta Terra going French and German. Gaunt's Ghosts getting reprinted. Looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
pick that up, and I realized I have that on my bookshelf that I stopped reading.
mm, and then we got Celebration ebook subscription 2023. So they're gonna have contains 5 e-shorts by a bunch of writers I have never heard of. Which, don't be
Yeah,
insulted. I don't read too many books. We got Age of Sigmar, Horus Heresy, and of course 40k. Looks like there's a book by Trains in the Infinite, so I might be a little interested in that because the last book was really good, but I don't know if it'd be worth doing a subscription base, but we'll see. I'm surprised they're not tying this into their Warhammer Plus, but
right. This
I
would be your
guess they want to do another avenue of trying to make money. I would just roll this into Warhammer Plus to be honest, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point. I don't know why they don't have like like audiobooks. Not audiobooks, just like books with Warhammer Plus, so maybe
Well,
they
I
should.
mean, these are just e-shorts, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
they could just give like little snippets. Or, I mean, if I scroll back up here, you know, the Black Library Celebration 2023, they could really just put a bunch of that into their thing instead of, I mean, people enjoy the magazines, I assume, but you could include that like every like once a month kind of deal.
Yeah, right.
But whatever. We're getting those. And then speaking of Warhammer Plus, looks like we're just getting 40k battle report and how to paint some vampire skin. And that is that. So if you're a guard player, very exciting pre-order week for you. Everything else is it's kind of whatever. I know, well, not whatever. Big news for John because his part 1 of his series is coming to an end
Almost over.
after 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. The series
20
is
years.
finally coming to an end.
Almost 20 years. Like 15 years.
So there you go. Close enough.
Oh, actually, like more than. Yeah, it's actually 19 years. Yeah, I think it's 04 was when Horus Rising came out. Oh gosh, yep, almost 20 years.
There you go. Just for 20-year celebration, they're gonna release the final part.
Oh, that's
2024.
another year to wait.
Yeah, that would be good marketing, and we all know GW's planning is never good. But yeah, there we go. That is this week. Now we can move on to some models, I think. Yes. We got the Balloon Dwarves. They are finally getting their battle tome, as well as another model, or a new model, I should say. This guy, who they called the lawyer. He's got all his books. He's pointing at something. A classic classic power gamer move, you know, where you just pull out the rules, telling people they can't do what they do.
Right.
But what are your thoughts? Since I think you're a lot more kinder to the Balloon Dwarves than I am.
He's kind of cute. Like he exists. I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it because it's another freaking hero, and Age of Sigmar has like way too many heroes, to be quite honest. So it will be nice. Like Kharadrons haven't gotten a unit since they came out, not counting Underworld's teams. They've gotten 2 heroes. It's like, come on, where's the unit? I mean, it's an interesting concept. It's a guy with a lot of books. You don't really see that a lot. So he's interesting in that way, but this army is not my aesthetic, and this guy is definitely not my aesthetic.
Well, I don't like it. But that shouldn't be a surprise. I don't like Leagues of Votann design. I don't like the Balloon Dwarves design. And I don't know. It's just the aesthetic of the army is just ugly to me. Maybe it's the steampunk aspect of it in the fantasy world. It just doesn't work for me. It's hard to describe in words why I do not like the Kharadrons. But for you people who do, your book is coming out and you get a new hero, which I agree with John. I wish Age of Sigmar would stop doing hero units and start putting in like normal units.
Right.
But those seem to only be reserved for the 2-player battle boxes, really. And even when we get those, it's only like 1 more unit.
I'm sorry.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Siri talking to me.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's my rant. Can't say too much about it other than you like it. But moving on to 30K. We got in they're just going over the Dreadnought Contemptor chassis. So since these already all existed, right?
Yeah. I'll let you finish because I'm about to go to on a 20-minute, 30-minute rant right now.
You gonna let me finish?
Yeah.
I don't have very much to say.
Any thoughts before I go ranting?
Disappointed that they didn't show the Thousand Suns one, but yeah, go off.
All right, I don't say this a lot. I'm usually pretty understanding of Games Workshop and Forge releases, but this is fucking bullshit.
All right.
This is actually bullshit. So you're aware that there are resin contemptors, right? You have the Thousand Suns contemptors, right?
I have Russian Thousand Sun Contemptors,
But you have
yes.
the Forge World Thousand Suns contemptors, right?
I do.
Yeah. So that's a special Thousand Suns design. You know, it looks like a Thousand Sun. The sarcophagus is Thousand Sun designs. The shoulder pads, the legs, the whole model minus the weapons is a specific Thousand Suns design, right?
Yep.
So all the legions have that. They have these dreadnoughts. So I'm building context here. They have these dreadnoughts where they have, and they show in this article. They show some of them. They have like a Sons of Horus dreadnought with the eye and his torso, and there's the one with the shoulder pads of the Eye of Horus. The legs have some design. They have one for Blood Angels. I have a couple of those. They have a Word Bears one. I got that one as well. So they decide. So we have that, right? You could get that from Forge World. You know, it doesn't replace the plastic kit. It's an option if you want to pay more money for a resin model that has the specific aesthetics of the Legion modeled on the model. So whoever made this decision decides, hey, let's scrap that. Let's just sell the torso and just the torso. And you could use the arms and the legs from the plastic contemptor. Which that in itself is fine, but the fact that they had to scrap the current one is just sucks. Because there's some really cool designs. Like I really like the shoulders of the Sons of Horus one, the White Scars one. Like if you go to Forge World, like on Forge World website and look at the White Scars one, he looks way different than this because of the shoulders and the legs. But no, that's scrapped now. You can only get the torso. I really don't see any positive argument here. People are saying like, oh, but this is the move to plastic. It's like, no fucker, it's still a resin torso. Like, you can edit that out, but it's still a resin torso. Your arms are optional. The arms and like the old kit did not replace the plastic kit. It's an option. Just kind of like how the legions have specific praetors with specific designs. You don't need those. I play Blood Angels. I don't need the Blood Angels praetor. I could just use whatever. My Word Bearers, I don't need the Word Bearers praetor. I could use the generic ones from the Age of Darkness box. Like that's fine. But they took that option away by removing the shoulder pads and the legs. Now, understandably, at the end of this rant, like maybe the mold's broken. Maybe I'm sure there's a reason. Like meme ranting aside, I'm sure there's a legitimate reason why the shoulders and the legs are gone. Like maybe the mold broke. Maybe it's degraded or whatever, and they had to remake the mold, and they just decided that it's more cost effective to make the torso. Sure, that's fine, but it sucks, and it even sucks that this is presented as a new release. Like, hey guys, check out this new release. We're gonna stop selling the old stuff and only sell one part of it, and it's a new release. It's like, oh my gosh, it just sucks because you can't get those anymore. If you want the cool Dark Angels Dreadnought with the shoulder pads and the legs, with the cool angels on the the shoulder pads are cool for the Dark Angel one. You can't get that. The Iron Warrior, the Iron Warriors one, the White Scars one, they have really cool legs. You can't get that anymore. You get the torso. And on top of that, you gotta get on top of that, you're using a whole contemptor. Because before, you couldn't get the plastic contemptor and the resin contemptor, and then use the weapons on the plastic one to build the resin contemptor. So guess what? You now have two dreadnoughts. Not anymore. Now you buy a plastic contemptor and a resin one. You got to replace that torso with this resin one, and it's probably it's Forge World, so it's gonna cost probably like $30 or something for a torso. So this sucks. This is again. I'm sure they have legitimate reasons. Maybe they don't. Maybe don't have legitimate reasons, but it just sucks that it's removing options that were there with no. I don't see the benefit. It's not like, oh, we're retiring an old design because we're making a new cooler design. All right, cool. I'm generally supportive of that, but no, they're just removing old designs and not even making a new design or anything. So this sucks. This is super lame and not like opposite of happy. I am sad. Not as sad because I have what I need, but like if I want to start a future White Scars army, well, I guess I can't get the cool whole dreadnought body. I got to stick with just the torso. So yeah, this is lame. Rant over.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. We would be. You're losing the army identity, right?
Yeah, you're losing a lot of the army identity.
Because they don't even feature the Thousand Suns one in here, which, I mean, I might be a little biased for Thousand Suns, but definitely the coolest looking one.
It's pretty dang cool. Now don't worry, you'll get your turn where it'll get replaced. They're just gonna start with these first 6. But
Oh yeah, well I know it's gonna happen,
oh yeah.
but these don't really add too much to the design of a Legion specific
Yeah.
Dreadnought. Yeah, the
Like
torso can do some things, but you're pretty much left on your own to kit bash and make your own stuff.
like in a vacuum, if the only release was the torso, it will be cool. But again, yeah, after seeing the arms and the legs, and that definitely fits in the Legion identity, like this is bare bones compared to that. Just to be honest.
Yes. Well, that's unfortunately the cut of cost they're gonna do to do the bare minimum to get you to get, well, not you specifically, but, you know, 30K chapter Contemptor Dreads, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the mold broke or something, so but it just sucks that we're losing that old stuff.
Yeah, it is sad to see, but it is what it is, as they say.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, we can move on to the next thing here. The last thing, which I think we already talked about. It's yeah, it's just Captain Micey. Who cares? We already talked about that. So we can just move on to Star Wars Legion.
Yes.
Get out of the GW news here. So we
So
got this
before
new Battle Force thing.
So actually, before we move on to that, I don't think we talked about special operations last week.
We did not.
Special operations is a new free game mode that's in beta testing right now for Legion. That is essentially Kill Team Star Wars Legion. So they released the beta rules, and the full rules are coming out apparently for free at the end of the year. But it's essentially Kill Team Star Wars Legion using your Star Wars Legion models. So it's only all infantry, no heroes, no name characters, just your which is something that separates it from Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint is very hero centric. You kind of have like actually they just released the squad building rules for Shatterpoint today, and no surprise, a requirement is you need to pick a name character to when you're building your army. You need name characters, but special operations does not. It's all generic troopers, death troopers, clone commandos, Magna Guard, or super battle droid, stuff like that. And I think that's pretty cool. I haven't really looked into the rules yet. I know some people who I play Legion with play tested it because you could play test it right now and send them feedback.
Yep.
But I haven't really looked into it. Not really my cup of tea at the moment in terms of my interest. But I think it's kind of cool that they released this. And what do you think?
Well, I mean, Kill Team seems kind of weird for a Star Wars game, given the fact that, you know, I figured it would be more Shatterpoint thing. But I would have to give it a shot to get my full opinion on it, given the fact that I only have experience with the base game. I hardly even play that. But I'd be willing to give it a shot. But if it doesn't hook you, probably not gonna hook me. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but I'd rather play just the main game.
Mm-hmm.
So That's my thing there.
Are the rules like different, or are they still pretty much the same, just
They're
more
pretty much
restriction?
they're pretty much kind of like last generation of Kill Team, where you use the same kind of it's the same dice, the same kind of stats, but like a rebel trooper. Well, actually, let me download one of these so I could provide an example. Like a stormtrooper has 6 health. The when you shoot it, you throw instead of just one white dice, you would throw 3 black dice, 1 red dice, 1 white dice for its blaster. So it's a pretty meaty thing. Like a one stormtrooper does a lot compared to a squad of stormtroopers in the main game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's different enough where the game looks interesting, but I think the main thing that prevents me from trying it out is there's no actual release. Like Legion is a kind of game where I like skirmish, right? Like I had to print those cards out and on card stock to use them because you kind of need them to be cards. And there are command cards here, and you kind of need to print those command cards out and put them in card sleeves and use them as cards. And there's no artwork or anything because again, it's in beta, so I'm not gonna give them crap for not having artwork or anything. But it's just the concept is cool, but I'm not interested enough to want to do it at the moment. Maybe when there's more meat, I'll try it out. But yeah, right now, it's just a cool idea that I support, just not something I'm interested in playing at the moment.
Of course. Yeah, well, I'm not really interested in learning new rules.
Right, that's another thing. It's another rule set.
Yeah. Oh, again, I'll give it a shot whenever you decide to come by and play.
Yep.
But not something I'm gonna rush out and do right now. But moving on to the other thing here. So this formation.
Yes, so this is a battle force called Imperial Remnant. So this is based on Moff Gideon's specific Imperial Remnant in The Mandalorian. So, but you don't need Moff Gideon. You could run a generic Imperial officer. So Imperial Remnants are kind of the remnants of the Galactic Empire after their fall in the Battle of Endor in front of the Jedi and in Jakku between Episode 6 and 7. So it's kind of like a almost ragtag group of Imperials, and this is who are more independent and not reliant on like a big army structure. And this is reflected on the rules. So going over the army building, let's go over the allowed units.
Okay.
So for commander, you can only take either Moff Gideon and or an Imperial officer. For special forces, you could take scout troopers, but not strike teams, and death troopers. Now, in terms of army building, these guys count as core. So when you're building an army, they don't count as special forces; they count as core units. But when you build your kind of tokens, they still use a special forces token, and they still count as special forces for like command cards and stuff. So I think Moff Gideon, his 3 pip card gives a buff to core. They don't get this, even though they're core in the army building stage. So again, scout troopers and death troopers. For core, you can have a maximum of 1 to 2 stormtroopers or 1 to 2 shore troopers, no mortar, so just the full squad. For support, you can have speeder bikes or the E-Web. And for heavy, you can have, or your heavy choice, you can only have dark troopers, so no Aiden ATST, no tank. And the only unique upgrade allowed is the dark saber, so you can have stuff like Gideon Hask or Del Miko, which are unique upgrades. And in terms of the rank requirements, you must have at least 1 commander and up to 2 commander or operative units. Currently, there are no operatives available. Maybe they'll change in the future. You can have your army must have a minimum of 3 and up to 6 core units. And again, once again, scout troopers and death troopers count as core. And for your support, you can only have up to 2. No triple bikes here or quad bikes. And for heavy, you can only have up to 2 heavy units. Now, Moff Gideon does let you take an extra Dark Trooper unit because of his entourage rule, but normally you would only be allowed 2 units. And I'm not going to go over the skirmish. If you play skirmish a lot, you could check the skirmish rank requirements out. And the special rules for Imperial Element, this is where it gets really interesting. So, like I mentioned, scouts and death troopers count as core. When you build an Imperial Remnant army, you must have at least one unit of each core unit before. One. You must have at least one core unit of each type before you get another copy of that unit. So the exact wording, I should just read the exact wording. It's the battle force cannot take more than one of each unit with a core rank until at least one of each unit has been taken. This army may not include detachments like mortars and stuff. What that means is you must have at least one scout trooper, one death trooper, one stormtrooper, and one short trooper unit before you get a second copy of any of those units. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. And more special rules. So when issuing orders, a commander unit can only issue orders to units within range 1 and 2. Normally, it would be within range 3, but it can only issue orders within range 1 and 2. And you may only use the courage of commander units that are within range 1 to 2 and not 1 to 3. Pretty significant nerf, but the buff does make up for it, I think. So if you are beyond range 2 of a friendly commander unit, the unit gets independent aim or dodge 1. That means if the unit does not get an order, it gets a free dodge or aim token. That's pretty good, I think. That's free tokens.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. And because of that, I imagine playing this army would be really interesting, trying to keep some really key units like death troopers away from your commander so they get that free aim token. Because as you know, Matt, and as all the Empire players know, they love aim tokens.
We do.
And this is literally just free aim tokens. You get a free aim token for essentially doing nothing. Just stay away from your commander's range. And so that's a big buff. But the final special rule, which I think is the army defining special rule for this formation, is any non-droid trooper unit in this army with a heavy weapons upgrade may equip an upgrade with one of the following unit requirements, ignoring that requirement. Stormtrooper only, short trooper only, scout trooper only, imperial troopers only. So what that means is all your units, all your core units, because it says non-droid trooper, dark troopers are droid trooper. So all your other units can take heavy weapons from the other units. So you could have a stormtrooper with a scout trooper sniper. You can have a death trooper with a stormtrooper bazooka. You can have a scout trooper or short trooper unit with the stormtrooper critical gun.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's super interesting. You could really build some interesting combinations with this. I'm actually there's a league coming up at GTTs for Legion, and I think I'm gonna be playing Imperial Ram just because of that cool kind of combinations you can make here. You could have again death troopers with the snipers, with the pure snipers. You can have short troopers and scout troopers really like the T21 upgrade for the stormtroopers, which is 4 white dice critical too. They really like that. Stormtroopers can get snipers if you just want to have a core unit that the surge to hit, and you want that Pierce 1 in your dice pool. There's that. Death Troopers cannot share heavy weapons, which makes sense, but yeah, Dark Troopers can't share heavy weapons. Death Troopers can, so I'm going to be running Death Troopers with a sniper or the bazooka, the Stormtrooper HH12. And yeah, it's just really interesting having all these combinations. I mean, you could also run just 6 saboteur bombs if you want. If you want to just lay mines all over the battlefield. But yeah, this is cool, and it's kind of free in the sense where you don't need to buy a book or anything, or there's no cards. It's just a way of building your army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any thoughts?
Well, I'm excited to see what craziness people come up with. Because who doesn't want to have a ragtag group of stormtroopers with a bunch of random weapons, right?
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be running this and letting everyone know how it works. Just the independent aim too is really good because again, it's just free aim tokens for people. You got your death troopers who are in position with the bazooka. They just get aims every turn for free and just keep refreshing the bazooka.
Now, has Moth come out yet?
He is out on Friday. I will be picking him up from my local game store.
Is it Moth and the troopers, or is it?
Yep.
No,
it's both of them.
all right then. Guess I'll be picking picking up a squad myself or two.
Yep. Now you don't need those guys for illustrators. You don't need those guys to play this battle force, but they're really good. And I mean, like we mentioned in previous cast, Moff Gideon is really interesting. He's a really solid commander, and Dark Troopers are also just another unique unit. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna have fun playing this.
All I know is the Imperium is eating good today.
Yes, the Empire is having a good meal.
Is
Cool.
it
Well,
good?
yeah, that is our Legion news.
Alrighty then. Well then, should we get into the hobby rants area?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start off because I actually did some hobbying. I did say
Nice.
last week, goal was to paint a model a day. I faltered on that one. There's like one day that I didn't paint.
That's okay.
The other 6 days I got something done.
There we go. That's what matters.
That's all that matters. So, I finished up the I'm blanking on the name right now, Redemptionist
For Necromunda.
for Necromunda. I'll have to message the group and find out like how much money are we starting with. So
Yes.
because I got to know if I got to buy more gangers or not.
Yes.
But
You have Kharadron, right? Can they use the Kharadron guys?
I'll tell you what I have. I have the Redemptionist box. I've got rat bombs, and I got the guy on top of someone with the machine gun. That is all I have.
Okay.
I don't have any of the Khador models or anything like that. Because I was like, if I was to buy it, I was only going to do Redemptionist. So, I'll have to probably buy another box of Redemptionist if we're starting off with a lot of money. But either way, they're all done. I just got in the mail some cool tools. I got this little wood counter.
Nice.
For Eldar. Because like I said, I'm going to be doing Eldar this year, hopefully. Hopefully 10th edition is nice to them. But Eldar have the fate system where they roll a bunch of dice. And then, you hold on to that dice and bank it for whatever you need. So this nice wood plaque thing that I just got holds the dice and tells me what each number represents. So I won't have to be digging through my book or whatever to find it. And then obviously I got a 3D printed blanking on the Phoenix Lord's name right now.
Harloff?
Barath, yes.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yes. Well, in terms of meta-wise, he is still very strong. And
Okay.
no matter how many times they seem to quote-unquote nerf him, they have failed every time. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Swooping Hawks are not worth taking anymore, but him, he's still worth taking. It's probably the best Phoenix Lord
Oh, interesting.
that we have. But yeah, we got that going. Probably get some 40K games in this week. I say that hopefully. Could always go play Star Wars Legion. It all depends on who shows up that day, which we usually find out either the night before or the day of. So I'd like to just get some 40K games in and get back into the rhythm of my Eldar, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much else going on. What about you?
Lots of 30K as expected, because John is glued to that for the foreseeable future. So I finished my Galvor back, and my librarian. Right now I'm working on Erebus and some despoilers, which are close combat attack marines. And I got a couple of games last week. I got my first game with at the Next Gen Games League in West LA using a custom tactical objective. You remember Maelstrom from 40K old editions?
I don't really remember Maelstrom too much because I just remember it being very unbalanced.
Oh yeah, it's super unbalanced, but well, maybe not too much because 30K has mostly one faction, so all the factions have very similar tools. But so maybe that's why it was really fun. Maelstrom, yeah, we played with a custom deck of cards, so procedurally generated objectives for the mission, and it was super fun. The game felt very dynamic. I played against an Empress Children player. Yeah, the super dynamic game. I did end up tabling my opponent just because a crucial. I think the game swung turn. I think it was turn 1 and 2 where I blew up a rhino with my Thanatar. It was a 3,000 point game, and he disembarked his dudes on one side instead of the other side. Now, if he disembarked it on the other side, he would have been shot by a plasma mortar, but he disembarked it on the other side, which was in full view of my Myrmidon squad with plasma guns. It was a squad of noise marines, like 30K noise marines, so this pricey, shooty squad, and just got shot off the table instantly by my Myrmidons because plasma hurts. So that was a huge swing on my favor. And then the plasma, excuse me, the plasma mortar did nothing. So I guess that kind of balanced out. And then the next turn, he charged my Galvor back with assault marines, just basic assault marines and a champion, and they got wiped. Now, to be fair, that unit of Galvor back had Argyltal and the librarian, so that was like a 800, almost 800 point unit, and unsurprisingly wiped out the 150 200 point assault squad and the character. And then the next turn, he failed a crucial reserve roll to have his Palatine Blades, which are like Emperor's Children veterans, inside the termite drill come in, which allowed me to just get more board control, shoot more noise marines, and kill some contemptor dreadnoughts. Yeah, I just kind of steamrolled. I did lose my Thanatars, both my Thanatars by the end of the game, and I lost my plasma squad, my regular marine plasma squad, but was able to just rack up the victory points and get the board control and secure the win. But I really had a lot of fun with the mission. Really, because the 30K missions, like I've always complained, don't don't really care about scoring units, but this one you really need your scoring units because you get different objectives every turn, and you really need those scoring units to rack some points up sometimes. So there was that, and then on the Friday I got a game with an Ultramarines player. I actually was so happy with the tactical objective deck that I bought another one so I could play outside that store, or outside the league, I mean, and we played with the tactical objective deck, and it was super fun. He played a drop pod list, so turn two, everyone was in everyone's face, and at that point it was just an attrition grind to see who could wipe who out. I lost most of my army. I lost my plasma squad, both my dreadnoughts, and a lot of Thalax, which are the Mechanicum jump pack unit. But our Geltal and friends were able to chew through enough Ultramarines and secure enough victory points and I got a tie. I think I would have won if I played a little bit better because one of my objectives, I had two objective cards, which was secure objective 5, which was on the other side of the field, and I think I should have committed the Galvor back there, but I kind of put them in the center so they could react to more things. But if I just took the risk and beeline for that objective, I would have gotten those 2 victory points early and would have drawn more cards to get me more points. But it was super fun, super close game, and very thematic. Shadow Crusade, right? Ultramarines versus Word Bearers in the realm of Ultramar. So that was super fun. But yeah, so looking to play more 30K games this week. Continue the Word Bearers rampage across the galaxy.
Well, I look forward to hearing the more stories about it. But word bears, huh?
Yeah, Word Bears.
No more No more Blood Angels.
I'm taking a break with the Blood Angels. I already have like 4,000 points of them. Yeah, 4,000, 4,500 points with Sanguinius. So, and I don't have, well, I have my Thousand Suns, but I wanted to work on, well, the issue I have right now with hobbying with the Thousand Suns and the Blood Angels is that paint scheme requires an airbrush, and setting up my airbrush isn't, I have, every time I use my airbrush, I have to set it up, I have to tear it down, I have to set it up, I have to tear it down, I have to clean the airbrush, do all this maintenance. And it does slow down my tempo when I paint. So I've been trying. I decided to do a new project where I could just paint with brushes, regular brushes, and that's the word bears. I did do my Mechanicum army all brush work, but I wanted a Space Marine Legion, like a Trader Marine Legion. So I decided to go for the word bears because possessed are cool. Argothal's are really. I just finished reading First Heretic again, and Argothal is such a cool character. Erebus is actually, memes aside, is a really cool character. And I randomly found these word bearer transfer sheets. I think I was getting them for a friend, and I forgot to give it to him and sell it to him. So I had some word bearers transfer sheets, which I could use for my army. And yeah, it's kind of like the paint scheme of the maroon armor, black shoulder pads, silver faceplate, and again, painting possessed was really fun. Very different because there's a lot of flesh and bone detail on those models.
Not just
And I
sleek
was
armor.
actually, what's up?
Not just sleek armor.
Yeah, not just sleek armor. Even armor's like kind of cracked in places and all that. And I was actually mixing I have a squad of 10, and there's only 5 poses available for the Galvor back, which was a 30k possessed, and I combined the 40k possessed kit to make some unique models, and that was a fun time. But yeah, word bears, that is my Trader Legion for the next foreseeable future. Maybe gonna do Sons of Horus and just do like a deep strike list with the new Horus model, but in terms of a full Legion, it's gonna be word bears.
Hmm. Interesting. I think if I was to do 30k, I think I'd do Emperor's Children.
They're really cool, the purple and gold. Because the thing with 30k, at least for me, because the armies are so big, having really paint schemes that aren't, you don't need. I mean, yeah, you could paint really amazing looking armies. Like Donnie has amazing looking fists and Death Guard armies, and they look great. But you don't need to go that ham if you don't want to with a 30k army to make it look good. Just because again, you have so many models, and if you have a striking paint scheme that looks good on the table, it could look really cool. Emperor's Children, that purple and gold with some white helmets or something. And again, you don't have to be like an heavy metal painter or a super good painter to paint, or you don't need to apply those.
Yeah, I
How do
get
I
it.
say
I
this?
know.
Like,
I
yeah,
get it.
you don't want to go, you don't need to go super detailed on your paint scheme. You just need to have like those spot colors there, and then you're kind of good to go with your force. Emperor's Children, super cool for that.
Well, they're a beautiful army. So,
Yep.
as they strive to be. But alrighty then. I think we're good to call it there.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end here. And we'll see you next time.
Later, everyone.